say, man, when you be reading the Bible, you be getting mad confused, this video is for you, man, for real. Take heed, family, take heed. Now, I know, man, the Bible can be very hard to read, understand, interpret sometimes, but really it's because our eyes are not trained to see and our ears may not be trained to hear. You feel me? And to get a further understanding, it only makes sense for us to do some further studying. So we have to open that Bible and actually read it. You dig? Let's get into it. Matthew chapter 13. Now in Matthew chapter 13, verse 10, the disciples asked Christ, why do you only speak to us in parables, right? And Christ further explains himself in the following scripts. Let's get it. Matthew chapter 13, verse 11, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So Christ is saying only a select few is really going to understand what he really trying to put down, you dig? Verse 12, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even he that hath. Verse 13, therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing, see not, and hearing, they hear not, neither do they understand. Seeing, they see not, but they got eyes. Hearing, but they hear not, but they got ears. They just don't simply understand, right? Just like the disciples that Christ is currently speaking to right now. You feel me? And you'd be lying if you told yourself that you never felt confused that way either. You feel me? Verse 14, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which said, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. Verse 15, for this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But check out what Christ told them for reassurance, you feel me? Verse 16, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Verse 17, for verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Had to pause right there, man. That kind of hit me. Had to make sure I can hear. You feel me? Like, so throughout Matthew chapter 13, from the beginning up until the halfway point, Christ continued to speak to his disciples using parables. And he spake not unto his disciples without using any parables. And he concluded that around verse 34, 35. Let's read it. Matthew chapter 13, verse 34. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them. Verse 35, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Now check this out, right? We all know how it feels like to learn something new and you think that you know something, but you be a little too ahead of yourself, right? And in Matthew chapter 13, these disciples that Christ just coached up through Matthew 13 that we just read, they still had a little bit of uncertainty, confusion in their spirit, right? Which is normal because we're all new to this. You feel me? Just how they was, just how we are, all trying to figure our way out to the light, to the kingdom of heaven, right? Now let's see how the disciples of the past, of aforetime, became, a little bit confused, a little bit stuck in their ways, you feel me? A little bit ignorant to new doctrine. All right, let's get it. In Matthew chapter 16, verse 6, Christ told his disciples this. Matthew chapter 16, verse 6, then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Verse 7, and they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Verse 8, which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? And that can sound a little confusing, because Christ just told them to beware of the bread. Now he asking them, why y'all look weary because y'all ain't eating bread, you feel me? To the unlearned, that sound like a contradiction, sound like confusion, right? Some might even say that might be the devil, right? The devil, confusion, if you kind of ignorant to what Christ is trying to tell you, you might think you're being swayed by the devil, but really Christ trying to put you on game. But due to your ignorance, lack of studying, lack of perception, you're getting misconstrued. You're confusing your damn self, you feel me? That's why verse 9 says this. Matthew chapter 16 verse 9. Do ye not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets ye took up? Verse 10. Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets ye took up? Now peep this, man. Matthew chapter 16 verse 11. How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Christ is saying, bruh, even though I said bread, I ain't really talking about bread. You think literally, I'm talking in parables, bruh. That's basically what Christ's saying for real. That is what Christ's saying for real. Verse 12, then understood they how he bade. Verse 12, then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Now I'm gonna reread the beginning of this story. Now I'm gonna reread to y'all Christ's directions to the disciples versus his conclusion to the disciples, right? Matthew chapter 16 verse 6. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Matthew chapter 16 verse 12. Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So when Christ told them to beware of the bread of the wicked, he's not necessarily talking about physical bread. He's talking about the doctrine that comes with the wicked. You feel me? Does that make sense? But if you're not doing proper studying, as I'm sure we've all fallen short of at some point of our lives, you may think too literally about a parable. And you also might take something that actually is meant to be literal. You may overthink that into thinking it's a parable, you end up lost, right? That's why it's wise to not only just read a script, but to understand the context. Damn. Now granted, we're all guilty of misunderstanding certain scriptures, right? But it often just shows that we have our ears closed and our eyes may not be able to see the truth, which is an indicator from God that we just got more work to do, you feel me? For real. Which is what Christ told us and reminded us, reprimanded us in Matthew chapter 13, verse 13 through 17, you feel me?